Hello, relatives. Nice to be back with you. This week's Schlagbite after some weeks' absence is entitled Joy and Triumph in Vietnam, and it is the first bite in the new year. My wife and I just got back from a 2-week tour of Vietnam and Cambodia. It was our 50th wedding anniversary gift to each other. Seeing the temples of Angkor Wat has long been on my bucket list, and since we were so close to Vietnam, a place where I still have considerable unfinished business, I thought, why not go there too? So we eased into the experience, first with a 3-day sailing trip in Ha Long Bay, which is about an hour's drive from Hanoi. These are peaceful, protected waters in the South China Sea that feature thousands of luxuriant tropical islands that rise out of the azure blue waters like sculpted stone monuments. We sailed with 15 young people. They came from Europe, from Asia, Australia, and all over the Americas. We sailed on a Chinese junk and watched fishermen cast their nets. We played with monkeys on sandy beaches. And in the evenings, away from all wireless connection, we were left to drinking beer in the moonlight, and under starry skies, we listened to each other's stories. It was beautiful. In this picture postcard setting, people appreciating the richness of their cultural differences, we sang and danced in a global community. It was the perfect prelude before opening old wounds and rages at American complicity in that disastrous war. So from Hanoi, we went to Ho Chi Minh City, formerly Saigon, where in the central marketplace, a beggar whose hand was extended approached me, and as he got closer, I could see how grossly disfigured he was. He had a single eye. Neither had any eyelids. His mouth was open, but he had no lips. It was the burned face of a phosphorus bomb survivor, and I couldn't look at him. I walked away. From that marketplace, we went to the War Remnants Museum, and walking up the steps of this stark, gray-walled monolith into the atrium, we were greeted by a dozen grossly deformed young people who suffered from the teratogenic side effects of Agent Orange. These are young people who were born without arms and legs, some of them hydrocephalic, some microcephalic, some brain damage, some were standing on crutches, others were in wheelchairs. And they were all singing. They were singing Christmas carols and were accompanied by a skeletally deformed pianist. I didn't want to look at them either, so I walked away again, but right into a photographic exhibit by 134 journalists from 11 different countries, all of whom were killed during the Vietnam War. In this museum, there was no walking away from anything. The images in the exhibition were horrific. And in spite of my anti-war activism, I felt ashamed to be an American. For the first time, I experienced what many Germans felt, even those who were members of underground resistance movements after World War II and the revelation of the death camps. By the time I was ready to leave the museum, I knew I would not look away from the Agent Orange carolers. I went and I stood with them, and I joined in the caroling. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. And with tears, I held on to them, and they held on to me, and we took pictures together. This is what I remember most about this trip. I remember that joyful spirit and resilience. I felt my unfinished business getting settled, surrounded by a new generation, lots of young people, and in their presence I feel hope for the future. And this is my wish and blessing for us all in this new year, relatives. May we sing together in peace as a global community. I say this for all my relations. Mitakuye. Have a great new year. We're all in it together.